In this video, we've got Optimum, we've got Adams, we've got Gtechniq, and we've got Fireball, and 1,000 miles to go. So buckle your seatbelts. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Turner Mobile Detailing. In today's video, we've got 4 premier tire coatings that we're going to put up against one another, and we're going to start off this test with a 1,000+ mile road trip. We've got Optimum tire protection and coating, we've got Adams tire armor, we've got Gtechniq's T1, and we've got Fireball's tire Janus. Now all of these products are listed as tire coatings, not tire dressings. Now if you're not familiar with the term tire coating, it's like a dressing, but they last a lot longer. The thing about the tire coating is that they actually dry and adhere to the surface of the tire, the rubber, and they don't sling off, they don't wear off the same as your traditional dressing would. You can layer them based on how long you want it to last or the sheen that you want to achieve. So today we're going to do 2 coats of each coating. That way we're going to get that much more longevity, and I personally want to see a nice semi-gloss sheen to the tire. Now, one of the biggest differences and keys to applying a tire coating over a tire dressing, or apart from a tire dressing, I should say, is the preparation. When you're applying a tire dressing, you really only need to clean the tire once, twice, maybe 3 times if you really want to, because that tire dressing is really only going to last about 2 weeks or so anyway. But with a tire coating, you want to get months and months of longevity out of that coating. And again, a key to doing that is to make sure your tire is completely clean, completely prepped to receive the coating, that there's nothing left on the tire, no dirt, no oils, no old dressings that would impede the tire coating from fully bonding and adhering to the rubber. So the tires here on the Subaru Forester have already been cleaned 3 times with DuraCoating's DuraCleaner, which is their heavy-duty degreaser. So we've got these tires totally clean. Now to take it one step further, we're actually going to wipe the tires down with mineral spirits. Now mineral spirits are a fairly mild solvent, so you don't have to worry about damaging your tire. Actually, to remove a tire coating after you're done with it, you actually should use something like lacquer thinner, which is a very strong solvent. It won't hurt your tire if you use it once in a great while, but I definitely would not use it every day or even every week, for it will dry out your rubber on your tires. So I've got a nice clean and new applicator pad. I'm just going to put some mineral spirits on it, and we're going to finish cleaning the tire. Now, as I said before, I cleaned these tires already really good until the suds turned a nice white. But you see here with the solvent, the mineral spirits, we still got some extra dirt off the rubber. So this will really help the tire coatings to bond to the tires that much better. And the nice thing about using mineral spirits or a light solvent is that it will evaporate really easy. We don't have to wait for very long for the solvent to evaporate or off gas from the rubber until we can apply our tire coating. So now I'm just going to go around the rest of the car and clean the rest of the tires with the mineral spirits. Okay, so I've gone around the whole car and I've cleaned all 4 tires with mineral spirits, and then I even flipped the pad around to the dry side and wiped them again just to wipe up any excess solvents and help the tires dry that much faster. So now that all 4 tires have been thoroughly cleaned and they're nice and dry, they're ready to receive the coatings. I've got 3 brand new, fresh and clean applicator pads and the 1 foam applicator pad that Fireball sends with tire. So we're going to go around the whole car. Again, 1 applicator per tire, per product. We're going to keep like products on the same side of the car. What I mean by like products are the Optimum tire coating and the Adams tire armor. They're both a very thin, white, milky consistency. And then on the other side of the car, the Gtechniq T1 and the Fireball tire, they're both more of a clear, gel-like consistency. So we're going to keep these 2 on one side of the car, and then we're going to keep these 2 on the other side of the car. We're going to start right here on the front passenger side with the Optimum tire coating. So Optimum's tire protection and coating is priced at about $20 for an 8-ounce bottle. That's what we're using here today. So for the 8-ounce bottle, it works out to about $2.50 per ounce. Now this product, by far out of these 4 products, is the one with the highest expectations, at least to me. It does go on very easy. Like most tire coatings, it's very thin, and has a white color to it. And then when it's applied to the tire, it briefly turns to a blue or violet before it dries to a beautiful clear finish. Like most tire coatings and dressings, the more layers you apply, the higher the sheen and the longer it should last. Adams Tire Armor is next, and it comes in about $23 for an 8-ounce bottle. That works out to about $2.88 per ounce. They do give you a fine mist trigger head, and it actually works surprisingly well for an Adams product. Like the Optimum, it's very thin, it has a white consistency, but doesn't really turn blue on the tire like the Optimum. Because of the spray head, Adams goes on extremely easy, easier than the Optimum even. I just mist some on the tire first, mist some on the applicator, and then spread it evenly around the tire. The sprayer is even precise enough where I can keep it off the wheel. Now for the Gtechniq T1, which comes in again at about $20 per 8-ounce bottle. Again, that works out to about $2.50 per ounce. This stuff has more of a clear gel consistency, which could be problematic in its ability or inability to fully dry on the surface. It goes on relatively easy, a little harder to spread than a thin liquid like the previous two. The thing about gel tire dressings, or in this case gel tire coatings, is that they tend to stick or collect in the treads of the tire, and that means there's a higher concentration in all those little nooks and crannies, and because of that accumulation, it's less likely to fully dry, thus leading to possible slinging. Now lastly, Fireball's Tire Janus is the same clear gel consistency as the Gtechniq. It comes in at about $27 for 500 milliliters or 16.9 ounces, which works out to about $1.60 per ounce, making it the cheapest of all these four products. But remember, with all these products, shipping will likely be a factor. Adams you can usually get at a decent discount directly from them. Fireball, you're most likely going to have to order directly from them, whether you live here in the US or somewhere else. But even if you buy from Amazon, vendors often offer free shipping, but like Adams, they raise the price of their products on Amazon to cover that shipping cost. So it's usually cheaper to buy directly from Adams with one of their discounts that they often offer. Now back to the Fireball. I don't really care for the fact that the bottle has a wide open top. I like to have some kind of applicator tip so I don't use too much or waste the product. Tire Janus is advertised as having a pearlescent effect in the finish, but to be honest, I'm really not seeing any kind of pearlescence in the finish. A quick note, if you haven't noticed already, I have each wheel of the car up on a 2x6x2 block to keep the bottom of the tire off the ground. This makes it much easier to clean and dress or coat the whole tire without having to move the car back and forth to get the area underneath the tire. Okay, so we've got all four dressings applied on all four tires. I definitely say that the fastest and the easiest to apply was the Adams, and that little mini spray head works really well. So we're going to let these set up for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then we're going to come back and apply our second coating. Okay, so it's been about 40 minutes or so since the first coat was applied. All the tire coatings have had a chance to fully dry to the tire. All the coatings now, after one coat, have a matte to satin finish. So we're going to take them to the next level to a semi-gloss finish with our second coat. Just like before, we're going to start off with our Optimum tire coating. Alright, so all 4 dressings have been applied, 2 coats. Now, because I'm losing daylight very quickly, I'm actually going to let these sit overnight, and then I'm going to take some after footage in the morning, and I'm going to overlay that right here. Okay, so it's the next day, and we're going to check out to see how these tire coatings look in the daylight. Let's start where we left off last night with the Fireball tire Janus. Now these coatings, I was a little surprised. All 4 of them actually, there's a lot less sheen than I thought there was going to be. It does give the tire a nice natural deep black clean look, and it's much more of a matte finish than I thought it was going to be. And now for the Gtechniq T1. The finish looks almost identical to the tire Janus from Fireball. Maybe a hair uptick in gloss, but basically a satin to matte finish. Now the car was driven early this morning, just for a few miles, but even just from that you can see that there is some sling on the trim work, both from the tire Janus here in the front and from the Gtechniq here in the rear, although the sling is much more severe with the tire Janus on the front. Now moving on to the passenger side of the vehicle, the rear tire, which we applied Adam's tire armor to. This also gave us a matte to satin finish, although I'd lean a little heavier towards the matte side of the finish. It looks nice. Again, a nice black, natural, clean, new tire look, but again, not what I was expecting. And here we have our problem child. The first coating that we applied, the Optimum tire protection and coating. For some reason, the second coat turned white on me, and I really have no idea why. The first coat went on just fine, but then after I applied the second coat, there was some sort of reaction. I've never seen this before, but I'm going to definitely have to contact Optimum. Hopefully by the time this road trip is over and I film an update, I've got an answer for you guys as to what might have caused this white chalking reaction. But the whole tire looks terrible. You can still see some sheen. Again, it's more of a matte to satin finish. So we're going to go on that. We're going to see how long that lasts. But if you guys out there have ever run into this issue with Optimum tire coating, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think caused it or what you know caused it and how you remedied it. So we're going to put these to the long-term test. All of these coatings advertise long-term longevity, which means months, not weeks. Typically, out of a tire coating, you're going to get a good 3 months or so before you need to reapply. The Optimum advertises 6 months to a year. I don't know about that, but we'll see. We're going to start this test off with a nice 1,000+ mile road trip. My wife and I are taking a trip down to the Carolinas to visit some family in about 2 days. So after that trip, we'll have put about 1,000 to 1,200, 1,300 miles on these dressings. So that's a good starting point, a good jump off point to see how these things are going to last. For your average daily driver, I'd say that's about a month's worth of driving. So we'll see how long they last after that. Hopefully we can get another 2 or 3 months after that out of these dressings. But a big factor to consider is after those 2 or 3 months, how good does it look and how fast does it degrade? So I'm going to make sure I bring you in for an update when we get down to the Carolinas after our first one-way trip. And then again, when we get back, all encompassed in this one video. So you don't have to wait for any updates on the trip itself. And then after that, about every 30 days or so, I'll bring you back in for an update to see how these tire coatings are holding up. So that's going to do it for this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're looking forward to the results just as much as I am to see how these tire coatings hold up over the long term. If you're like me and you like products that you can set and forget, you don't have to worry about routine maintenance constantly, then this video and these products just might be for you. But if you're someone who likes to work on their vehicle every week or two and reapply the dressings every week or two or every other day for that matter, then maybe these products aren't for you as much. But either way, okay, so we made it down here to beautiful South Carolina. We've actually been down here for a few days now. We went through a minor rainstorm on our way down here, and it rained pretty much all day yesterday. So between the mileage and the weather, we've already had a good amount of testing for these tire coatings. Let me take you for a look around the car and we can see how all 4 tire coatings are holding up. So starting with the Fireball tire Janus here on the front driver's side tire, it pretty much still looks like it did after it was cured, a day after it was first applied. So that's a really, really good sign. But if you remember from our next day update footage, It did sling a little bit after just a little bit of driving. But again, the same matte to satin finish is still very much intact. Now moving on to the rear driver's side with the Gtechniq T1. Again, a very satin to matte finish, still very much intact. Again, this dressing also slung a little bit after just a small amount of driving. These two tire coatings on the driver's side, the T1 and the Fireball, were the only two dressings out of the four to sling at all. Now moving on to our passenger side here in the rear, we had Adams tire armor. Again, the same finish, a very satin to matte finish. I tried to position all these tires in the sun so that you could really see the finish. But again, the Adams tire armor looks exactly the same as it did after it was fully cured, the day after it was applied. So again, that's a very good sign for the Adams tire armor. And now lastly, moving on to the Optimum's tire protection and coating. Again, the same problem with the white chalkiness has not gone away, so I believe it's pretty much permanent. I did reach out to Optimum, and as soon as I hear back from them, I will let you know what they say. Hopefully they get back to me before we get back to Pennsylvania and I make my final update for this video and this trip, so I can let you know what they say, and if this happens to you, you can know how to proceed to fix it. But as far as the sheen of the Optimum tire coating goes, it's pretty much the same as I can tell from the day after we applied it, after it was fully cured. So I do believe this is a good quality coating. It is very popular in the industry and it's got a ton of positive reviews online and on YouTube. So again, I'm not sure what caused the tire chalking or the white finish, but if we have to, we'll strip it off and try it again. All right, so that's our mid-trip update. We'll see you back in Pennsylvania for our final update, and then we'll see how they hold up long term. All right, so we're back up north to Bucks County, Pennsylvania after our trip to South Carolina. The round trip was around 12 to 1,300 miles, maybe a little bit more as we did use the car to drive around while we were down there. So we've actually been back for about 3 weeks now. I just haven't had time to make this update. So we actually got home on late Saturday night on April 2nd, and today is April 24th. So it's been about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more than that. And we've put about 100 to 150 miles on the car per week since we've been back. So if you add up, let's say 1,300 miles to about 450 miles, we're looking at about 1,700 to 1,800 miles per se since these coatings were applied. And honestly, I'm really not impressed with any of them. Starting here on the front passenger tire, I use the Optimum tire coating. And as you can see, it's still there a little bit. Remember, we had a whiting problem. For some reason, the coating turned white. You can still see that some of it's still there. The whiting really didn't go away. It's not as pronounced as it was at the beginning or towards the beginning because a lot of it has worn away. So that has actually been the best performing coating as far as longevity. The next coating up was the Adams tire armor. That you can still tell is there a little bit. I just did a basic wipe down of all the tires with some water and a rag just to get any loose debris and dirt off the tires so we could see the coatings that much better, or whatever is left of them. But the Adams tire armor, again, you can tell it's still there a little bit. It doesn't look as good as it did at the beginning, obviously, but you can still tell that it is there a little bit. I would have thought that it would have lasted longer. The mileage that we put on it, you could expect, I guess, the average car to do that in about 2 to 3 months, since we did go on a long road trip right off the bat. But that many miles, I guess it lived up to what it's supposed to do. I would have liked to see it look a little bit better than this at this point in time, but it is what it is. You let me know in the comments below what you think of this stuff so far. Next up on the rear driver's side was the Gtechniq T1. That looks basically completely gone. I'm not sure how much you can tell from the camera. There's still maybe a little bit of sheen on the rubber, but for all intents and purposes, compared to what it looked like when it was first applied, it's basically gone. And honestly, it looked pretty much how it looks now after about 2 weeks or so. So for a tire coating, I'd really say that this stuff should be categorized or thought of expectations wise more of a tire dressing rather than a tire coating. I'd say you're only going to get about 2 to 4 weeks out of it to the point where you're going to want to reapply it to keep the tire looking the way you want it to look. And lastly, the front driver's side tire, we used Fireball's tire Janus. Now this by far for me was the most disappointing product out of the four. About 3 to 4 weeks later and about 1,800 miles into this coating, I really can't tell that it's there. Again, if you catch it right at the right angle, you can see a little bit, maybe a tiny bit. But again, is that the coating or is that just the natural sheen of the tire, the rubber itself? There's really little to no evidence that the coating or this dressing, again, as I think it should be called with this stuff too, is still there at all. And not only did this stuff not deliver on longevity, but it didn't have any kind of pearlescent sheen to it. This stuff is supposed to have a pearlescent sheen when you first apply it, and it's supposed to last, I imagine, for a while through the longevity of the coating or dressing. But I really didn't see anything from the beginning up until now, any pearlescence, any kind of special feature that would make this stuff worth buying over any other of Fireball's tire coatings or dressings. So I really have to say, if you're looking for a tire dressing, then this stuff might be a viable option for you. It does look good once it's applied, but as far as a tire coating, you're looking for longevity beyond what just a dressing is going to give you. This stuff, don't waste your money. The T1, same thing. If you're looking for a tire dressing, then this stuff would be a very viable option depending on your budget, and it's going to give you a little bit more of a longevity beyond just your basic water-based tire dressing or even the spray-on tire dressings you buy at your local auto parts store. But again, as far as the tire coating, don't waste your money with this stuff either. The Adams Tire Armor, this stuff was very impressive on application. It was extremely easy to apply. The little sprayer here works really, really well. It applies very, very easy, very smooth, very effortlessly. Imagine that, a Adams sprayer that comes from the factory that actually works well. But as far as the tire coating, this stuff performed better than the previous two, the Fireball and the Gtechniq. Again, if you like a matte sheen or a satin sheen, a low satin sheen, then this stuff might be good for you. I'd say it would need to be applied, reapplied every 3 to 4 weeks to keep it looking the way it should look. But honestly, do not expect this stuff to go 3 or 4 months without a need for reapplication. So again, depending on your expectations, this stuff might be a viable option for you. And right back to where we started, the Optimum tire coating. We're actually going to try and strip this stuff off the tire and try it again. I want to get rid of that whiting. This time I'm not going to clean the tire with mineral spirits. I really don't think that caused the problem, but this time I'm just going to clean it with Duracoating's Dura Cleaner. This stuff is a really strong degreaser, and it's what Duracoating recommends if you're going to be applying their own tire coating, Dura Dressing, which I love that stuff. I think that's a really good product. I use it on my own truck. So we're going to clean this tire 2-3 times. We see how many times it takes to get the coating off till we get a nice black tire again and get all that whiting off. If this Dura Cleaner doesn't work, I've also got some lacquer thinner that I know will take it off if you really need to, but I want to avoid using this if I can. And hopefully the Dura Cleaner will do a good job in removing this tire coating so we can start new. Okay, so I just cleaned and rinsed the tire thoroughly 4 times. So let's dry the tire off and see if there's any remnants left over of Optimum's tire coating. All right, so it looked like those 4 cleanings did the trick. I'm actually a little surprised that it came off as easily as it did. A lot of times tire coatings need to be removed with a solvent. That's why I have the lacquer thinner here ready to go. But thankfully we're not going to need that. The Dura Cleaner took care of the job. I cleaned it 4 times. As far as we know, the first cleaning could have stripped it all off, but we went for 4 cleanings just to be sure. So now the tire is cleaned, rinsed, and thoroughly dried. As you can see, the coating is totally gone. The tire has a nice clean natural rubber charcoal gray muted black look to it. So now the only thing left to do is reapply Optimum's tire coating. I've got a nice brand new clean microfiber applicator pad. We're going to give it a good shake, make sure whatever's in this stuff is thoroughly mixed in. Now I did have problems with the applicator tip the first time we used this stuff, and again we're having the same problems. So somehow, even when it was brand new, some product may have hardened up inside the applicator. So we're just going to take that off and apply it to my applicator sponge or applicator pad like this, the old-fashioned way really, and go to town. This stuff is very easy to apply. It's really not difficult at all to work into the rubber. Again, when you apply it, you're going to see it turn a blue to violet hue, but again, don't worry, that will turn into a nice clear finish. Now, as we can see already, as this stuff starts to blend into the tire, the blue-violet tinge is going away and it's turning a nice satin to semi-gloss finish. So we're going to give this stuff a full hour this time for the first coat to cure. The instructions do say allow 30 to 60 minutes after each coat to reapply another coat. Last time we went about 40-45 minutes before applying the second coat. So I don't know, that's according to the instructions we did everything right. Maybe that's what caused the whiting of the coating, or the coating to turn white on us, that we didn't wait long enough to put the second coat on. So this time we're going to go a full hour and see if that makes a difference. So let's take a look at this tire after our first coat. All right, the tire looks really good, but that's just our first coat. Let's see if it keeps looking good after our second coat. We'll see you in 1 hour. Okay, so it's been 1 hour since we applied the first coat of Optimum's tire coating. The coating looks really good after just 1 coating. So now it's time to try this stuff for the second time on the second coat to see if we succeed where somehow we failed before. I want to note that the first application of the coating on the applicator pad has already crusted up a little bit on the applicator, so I'm going to use the other side that's nice and clean and smooth for our second coat. And we're just going to apply the second coat the same way we did the first coat. So we got the same bluish, violetish tinge of the coating on the second coat, the same as the first coat, but again, as it dries, that'll go away. Okay, so our second coat of Optimum's tire coating has been applied. The second coat looks really good so far. It's already started to set on the tire. The blue and violet colorings have pretty much gone away. If I remember, the first time we did this, right away the second coat started to turn white, and we noticed it right away, but the second application, or the second time through this, it looks really good. We're going to let it cure overnight. I'll bring you back in for some additional footage tomorrow morning after it's had a chance to fully cure. They say in the instructions to not let it get wet for 4 hours, so we're not expecting any rain tonight, so we should be fine. So I'm going to splice in that footage right here. Okay, so here we are the next morning. The coating has set overnight. As you can see, it looks really good. It's got a nice semi-gloss sheen to it, and most importantly, there's no whiting. The second coat did not turn white. The only difference in the equation from the first application to the second application was the mineral spirits that I used to clean the tire the first time, so maybe that's what caused the whiting. But again, the first coat on the first application did not turn white. It was only the second one, so I have no idea what caused that. As I said before, I reached out to Optimum to ask them that very question, and a very nice Mr. Ron Doyle reached back to me from Optimum, and he gave me some scenarios that could possibly cause discoloration or improper bonding of the coating, like improperly cleaned tire, or the fact that tires differ from tire to tire. So a coating that bonds well on one tire may not bond as well on another tire. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to the tire manufacturing process. So that didn't really answer my question. He had never seen it either, but nonetheless, it does seem like we've solved our problem. Again, there's no whiting. The coating looks great after 2 coats. It's totally dry to the touch. There's nothing on my fingers, nothing on my hands. The coating is perfectly dry. So it looks like our second go around with this stuff was a success. Okay guys, so that's going to about do it for this video. I'm going to do an update in about 30 days to see how the Optimum's tire coating is holding up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss that update. Okay, hold on. So I actually decided to include the 30+ day update in this video. I figured, why make you guys wait? Let's just put it all together. So the last footage that I did was done about the 3rd week in April. It was about the 21st, I think, maybe the 24th of April, with Optimum's tire coating here on the front right or passenger side tire. We did 2 coats, and you remember that the first time we tried it, it chalked or it whited out on us. It made us this white film on the tire, and it didn't go away. So we stripped it off the tire and redid the whole process, and it came out really, really nice the second time. So today is actually June 19th, so I apologize for not getting to this video 30 days. It's actually been closer to 60 days since we applied the Optimum's tire coating here on the tire. But 60 days, we get to see even more longevity out of it rather than the 30 days. So just looking at it now, while the tire is still dirty, it actually looks pretty good. You can still see some sheen through the dirt and the grime that are on the tire. So the goal for this update is to clean the tire, the wheel and the tire, to see what it looks like underneath that dirt and grime, and to see just what the 2 coats of Optimum tire coating look like after about 60 days. So to clean the wheel and tire, I'm just going to be using some Super Clean, diluted about 5:1, so it's a pretty mild cleaner. Now also you can use just a very basic car shampoo. If you've got this stuff on your tires and you're doing a maintenance wash, then it's recommended you not use a super harsh cleaner. So basically, if you've got a tire coating, a good tire coating on your tires, you really shouldn't need to do a deep cleaning on the tires to get them clean. That's a benefit of a tire coating, not just keeping the tire looking good for a longer period of time. So basically, if you're doing a maintenance wash on the rest of the vehicle, you can use the same shampoo on the wheels and tires, and you should be good to go. Now, Super Clean diluted 5:1 is pretty mild, and I'm also going to be using just a soft wheel brush, flag tip wheel brush. This one is my old Nanoskin wheel brush, but I'm going to be using it on the wheels and the tires. Again, you don't want to use anything too aggressive on the tires. You don't want to risk damaging or stripping off the coating with an overly aggressive cleaner or overly aggressive tire brush. So let's get this wheel and tire clean. So I'm just going to give the tire a quick rinse down just to get off any loose debris, and with a little water on the surface, it'll help the cleaner foam a little bit better. So again, you want to use a mild cleaner and a soft brush to clean the tire along with the wheel. Now if a mild cleaner and a soft bristle brush does end up stripping off the tire coating that you've got left on the tire, especially if it's at a time frame that you feel the tire coating should be able to withstand such a cleaning, then you might want to switch tire coatings. In this case, with Optimum's tire coating, now that the wheel and tire are clean, let's get it blow dried and see how much of it is left after about 60 days. Okay, so hopefully you can tell from the after footage that after the wheel and tire have been thoroughly cleaned and thoroughly dried, that there is still a good amount of the Optimum tire coating left after 60 days. And to be honest, I'm pretty impressed. After 60 days, it looks good. It would be up to you, up to the owner's discretion. If you want to reapply at this point, I still think it looks pretty good. I personally think you could get away with maybe another 2 to 4 weeks with it looking like this before another application would be totally necessary. But that would be up to you. But again, after just 2 applications or 2 coats initially, I don't think I've washed this car in 60 days or cleaned these tires in 60 days. So for it to hold up like this and look this good after 60 days of everyday use, remember this car sits outside every day. It gets driven in the rain whenever it rains, which is a lot lately. We had a lot of rain this spring. And after all that, I think it looks really good. So again, 60 days or so, 2 coats, no washes, no treatments in between. I'd say you're definitely getting your money's worth with Optimum's tire coating. And again, the other 3 tire coatings, they were pretty much gone within the first, I'd say, about 3 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks. At that point in time, you could still recognize them just a tiny bit, but you would really want to reapply after about 2 to 3 weeks with those other 3 products. But the Optimum's tire coating really lived up to its name as a tire coating, not a tire dressing. And again, in my opinion, you're really getting your money's worth with this product, so I would definitely recommend Optimum's tire coating. Okay, that all being said, let's head back to the main video. And if you did like this video, you found it useful, please don't hesitate to give us a like right down below. And again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. That way you don't miss any future updates to this series. So again, I'm Seth with Turner Mobile Detailing, and we'll see you in the next video.